Hi guys, Darth Deuce here, back on the Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figure review. Today, taking a look at a release that was probably my most anticipated, or one of my most anticipated 3 3/4 inch Vintage Collection figure releases of this year. It is Darth Revan from Knights of the Old Republic. After many years, we have finally gotten a new 3 3/4 inch Darth Revan figure. This has been quite a few years in the making. I remember they had announced they were going to do Revan in the Vintage Collection years ago, like maybe like 3+ years ago, maybe even longer. It's been a long time since they announced it. And I think if my memory serves correctly, when they originally announced it, they were revealing it was going to be a reissue of the 2007 30th anniversary collection figure, which is a very, I'm gonna say, maybe for lack of a better term, famous 3 1/4 inch figure within um, Star Wars collecting. It was for a long time, and maybe still is, a fairly sought after figure. It was a very sought after figure for me, a grail figure for me for a long time. I picked it up, I think, last year or something. But we got this new one, which is very exciting. So we're gonna take a look at the packaging first. This figure, I think, looks absolutely incredible on the card back. I absolutely love this card back. You've got the nice Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic nameplate there instead of having Expand Universe. I think this looks really cool. Darth Revan. You get the figure there with the red background. I think looks really nice, and I really love the image they used for the card back. It is a photoshopping of the image that they used for the Revan novels cover art. They just changed the color of the blade from green to red because in that novel it takes place after the games and he's redeemed at that point. But yeah, absolutely love this artwork. I think it looks super awesome. Very happy with that. And then on the back, you've got this new style of backing that they used to do for the Vintage Collection almost 10 years ago at this point, or 10 years ago at this point. And yeah, pretty cool. Very nice card back. I did pick up 2 of these with the intention of keeping one carded because this is definitely a character and a card back I definitely want to have on mint on card. So very nice, but we will put him off to the side and we will take a look at the figure itself. And I think the figure is very cool. I mean, basically all they needed to do with success for this figure is take the Black Series figure and just scale it down 3 1/4 inch. And in some sense, that's what they've kind of done, but there are definitely some differences. It's not a carbon copy of that figure by any means. But this is a vast improvement on the old figure in pretty much every way. I will compare with that old figure, but yeah, this guy, I think, turned out really nicely. Looking at the head sculpt here, I'm glad they went with a plastic hood. It's just really hard to get hoods looking right in soft goods at this scale. So I'm glad they went the plastic. I think it looks really nice with the mask or the helmet there. And the sculpting is pretty good. A little feature you can do that you couldn't do on the Black Series was you can't actually remove the hood, which is a fun little feature. I don't know, it feels like it's a little pointless, but it's cool. It can be a little finicky, but you can get it off and then you can get to see all the details. And I like that they designed it to be an actual full helmet because in the lore, it's a helmet he takes off of a fallen Mandalorian warrior. So it would be a helmet because Mandalorians wear helmets. So sometimes it's shown more as a mask. So I'm glad here it's a full helmet. And I think it looks really nice. The sculpt and paint on this looks really good as well. It's pretty clean. Yeah, I like that a lot. Put the hood back on. The hood stays on nice and securely. Actually, I was wondering if this would flop around a lot or fall off easily, but it doesn't. It stays on really good, so that's nice. It does have a soft goods cape. It is a fairly thin material. You can kind of see through it a little bit, but I do like the whole torn at the edges there and the holes, and that looks really cool. And I like that it's not too oversized either. Not like a Darth Vader cape. Those can be really big, but this isn't too bad. It is weirdly stitched a little bit at the top. I assume so it doesn't go flowing out too much. I don't know, but it's not too bad. Then the rest of the figure is really nicely sculpted and painted. You got this really nice like reddish bronzish color for the armor. You got nice silver paint apps and black paint apps throughout. And there's even a bit of a silver wash given to give that armor a worn metal look, which I think looks really nice. The gauntlets look really good as well. The belt has a good amount of paint apps. All these little rings and buckles and whatnot are all painted silver in the bronze color, which looks really nice. And then on the lower part, you do have a soft goods lower robe, which is a more different material from the cape. It's a bit rougher. And then you got this plastic piece here. And then this is also torn at the edges for the soft goods. That I think looks pretty good. And then pulling that up, you just have some normal like black pants, but you do have that same colored orangish, reddish, bronzish looking armor, shin guards and boots that I think look really nice as well. And yeah, it's just a really good looking figure. Has a nice presence, and is so much more accurate than that old figure. Articulation wise, he has a dumbbell joint at the neck. With the hood on, your articulation is going to be limited, but you can rotate it, and you can move it around a bit. If you take the hood off, of course, the range is a lot greater. Single hinges at the elbows that move quite well, actually. Single hinges at the elbows that I will say, they go just about 90. I do wish these would have been cut a bit deeper and bended a bit further in. That's a little unfortunate. Not a massive deal, but yeah, would have liked these to have a little more range of movement. And then both wrists have a swivel and up and down hinge, which is great to see. Even the Black Series didn't have both of these wrists as up and down hinges, so that's cool. Torso dumbbell joint doesn't really go back that far. Only goes forward a little bit. There's not a whole lot of movement, but you do get rotation and you do get a little bit of pivot there. Hip joints, ball joints, you can just a kick forward. The soft goods does limit it a little bit, but it's not too bad. And you can also spread for as far as that will allow. It's not too bad. It's a bit limiting, but not too terrible. There is a swivel cut at the thigh up in there. A single hinge at the knee that goes a little shy of 90 actually. That's a little unfortunate as well. Not a massive deal, but it is worth noting. Then hinges at the ankles that go up a lot, down quite a bit, and ankle rocker for pivot. So articulation, I feel like there could have been it could have been a little better, honestly, but it's still pretty good. I'm not complaining too much considering it's a massive improvement over the only other option you have for a Darth Revan figure at this scale. Accessory-wise, you did already see the removable hood. I'd count that as an accessory. He does also come with 2 lightsabers. You get his Sith lightsaber, which I believe both lightsabers he comes with are new sculpts. Nice, vibrant red blade, and then nicely painted silver hilt with a bit of little bronze or gold coloring there. And you can just put that in his hand, no problem. And then he also comes with, like the Black Series did, these purple lightsaber, very nicely sculpted and painted hilt, and a nice purple blade. We don't get too many purple blade characters around anymore. And he holds that really well as well. I am curious how the paint on the hilts will hold up from taking the lightsabers in and out of his hands. Some lightsabers, the paint's absolutely fine, and other ones it scrapes off really easily. So time will tell, I guess. But those look really good. Very happy with that. Glad he came with both. I think that's super cool. It looks really nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the actual figure, but we should do some comparisons. So I guess first off, the main one is with the only other Darth Revan figure to ever be released in the Hasbro Through the Corners line, who is with the 30th anniversary Darth Revan figure. And yeah, it's a massive change, as you can see. This is a really old figure, but you can see like they're similar, but very different as well. The old one, it's a lot blacker, almost grays for the robes, where this one's just pure jet black. This one has a lot more plastic going on. It's got full plastic lower robes, a full plastic cape and hood piece, as you can see. I'll put his arm down here. The armor is a lot different colored. You can definitely see similar in design, but a lot different. The articulation is much improved on the new one. Unfortunately, I gotta say, the articulation on the old one is pretty bad because of the plastic lower robe. Well, one, they just didn't give him ankle or knee articulation. It only gave him soles in the hips, but even then you wouldn't be able to articulate them anyways because the plastic is too rigid for this plastic robe and you wouldn't be able to pose the legs anyways. And then just like limitations in the elbows, just swivels in the wrists, stuff like that. It's a very The old figure really, as much as I still like this figure a lot, I'm glad to have it in my collection. And I don't plan to get rid of it anytime soon because it is a piece of, in my opinion, a piece of Star Wars collecting history, figure collecting history. And it is still a cool figure, but it's just objectively not very good, especially to today's standards. Its articulation's pretty bad. The colors, especially compared to the new one, just aren't super good. And the other thing is I'll take the hood off of this one. The mask sculpts are completely different. Um, yeah, the old one has a completely inaccurate mask sculpt. I don't know why. Even on the packaging for the old one, it has the correct mask, but the figure itself doesn't. This is actually the Sith mask you can get in the game as a wearable piece of equipment in the game. So it's technically not inaccurate in the sense that your character who you're playing as Revan, you could wear it. But for just a Darth Revan figure, it is not accurate at all. As you can see, the new one is 10 times more accurate. It looks way better. The old one looks cool, but it's just, yeah, I don't know why they went that way with the old one. Super weird. But yeah, there's that. Then another 3 3/4 figure again from the '07 line. Here he is with the Darth Malak, which I think is a better made figure overall. A bit better articulation than the old one, over the old one, not over the new one. But that's how they look together. They're cool, but and this Malak figure is definitely really cool. This was another Grail figure of mine that I really like. But I'm hoping we got a new Revan and we got a new Malak in the Black Series. I'm hoping we'll see a new Vintage Collection Malak because, again, a lot to improve on with this figure. The sculpt just in general could be way better. Articulation definitely could be much improved. And this figure is undersized. They did not. Malak is supposed to be tall. Like he's supposed to be taller than Revan by at least half a head. This figure is really short. It's actually shorter than the new one. So he looks really small and odd, kind of beside this figure. It's still cool to have them both. I still really like this Malak, but yeah, they could definitely improve on this figure a lot as well. So I hope they do that. With Malak getting a new Black Series figure, I feel like it's in the realm of possibility. And then lastly, the only other articulated Revan figure that I think exists, at least from Hasbro, but I think in general, is here he is with the Black Series Revan figure. And both these figures I think are really good. The Black Series one is an older figure. I think it first came out in 2016, I think. It's actually kind of old now, like 7 or 8 years. And I think it's aged pretty well, considering some other older Black Series that are pretty terrible by today's standards. This one's still pretty decent. Um, but I gotta say, I think from a look wise, I prefer the new Vintage Collection. The new Vintage Collection I think has better paint apps. I think the mask looks a bit cooler and more accurate to the original game. And I think that's it. Like the new Vintage Collection looks much better and also more accurate to the original game. Whereas with the Black Series, I almost feel like they kind of went with kind of how he kind of took some inspiration from the original game, and kind of took some inspiration from the Old Republic MMO game. But they both look good. I will say I do kind of prefer the soft goods on the Black Series, but the larger figures are more likely to have better utilize soft goods better. You can see the masks and the hoods. I think the hood sculpt and the mask just looks better on the new one. But the old one, the Black Series, still looks really nice. And the Black Series actually had a bit more paint detail on the mask. But I feel like the mask on the Black Series one definitely reminds me more of the MMO's game mask than the old Knights of the Old Republic game. But I just think the paint on the armor looks better. Articulation is a little better in some areas, in most areas. And the new one feels a little more solid. For whatever reason, the legs on the Black Series one, they're not like loosey-goosey. They're just like, I don't know, his waist joints are kind of loose, and he likes wiggling around a lot for some reason. I don't know. But they're both really solid figures. If you only collect one scale or the other, you've got a decent Revan figure either way. But overall, I think this is a superb release from Hasbro for the Vintage Collection line. I'm absolutely thrilled that they made a brand new Revan figure and sculpted them brand new head to toe. I'm glad they decided not to just reissue that old '07 figure. Like I said, It's a cool figure, and I'm glad I have it. It's a figure I wanted for many years, but it has just aged pretty terribly, and it's objectively, honestly, not a very good figure if you take off the nostalgia lenses. So, yeah, if you want a Darth Revan figure at the between two corner scale, you get this one. Don't even. I wouldn't even consider the '07 figure unless you really have, for whatever reason, maybe for sentimental reasons or whatever reason, like I did because it was a grail of mine. That'd be like the only reason you get that figure. Otherwise, get the new one. It is 10 times better. It looks absolutely incredible, and yeah, very happy with it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.